Are we live?
Maybe. We might be.
I let him ask it. I was very tempted, though.
Yeah, oh, I know you were, you fuckbag.
Hello and
Alright.
welcome to OLIP.
Yeah.
Welcome to OLIP.
Welcome to the Fuckbag Podcast.
Yeah, right? So, hey guys, welcome back to Our Life in Pixels. My name is Tim, Valiant13. I am joined, as always, by Cody, Norse Warrior, and Justin, Mr. Faranox. We are just a bunch of nerds talking about video games, and what have you guys been playing this week?
I've been playing. Is the audio on the stream working?
It should be. It looks like it is on my end.
Oh, you know what? I see my problem.
You have it
Ignore
muted?
me. No, something else.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
All right.
It is working.
I am concerned, but whatever.
It's working. It's good.
Anyway, as I was saying, I've been playing Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice, the new title by From Software.
Dark Souls.
It's
Ninjas.
pretty hard.
Dark Souls Samurai, to be more accurate. Looks so good.
I mean,
Isn't
yeah,
Dark Souls Ninja?
It's ninja. Yeah. To make that clear. You're
I
not
thought he
playing
was
samurai.
I thought he was supposed to be kind of a Ronin type deal.
Nah, dude, Shinobi, 100%.
That's even better.
Yeah, it's really good. Complete garbage at it. I keep trying to play it like it's Dark Souls, and it's really not Dark Souls, and so I'm just kicking myself in the ass over and over every time I fight something right now. I'm probably like 5 hours in or so. Yeah, it's great.
How many times do you think you've died?
100.
Really?
Are you
just like
I
saying
think
that?
I would say I've died under 100 times. Maybe like 50.
I got a question for you. So you say that you've been trying to play it like Dark Souls, but it plays very different. In what way does it play different? Because from the trailers I've seen, the gameplay trailers I've seen, the combat system looked very similar, but it did look like it had some differences. If you could just go over what those might be.
Yeah, the biggest thing I would say is I don't think there are any invincibility frames in the game whatsoever. So I'm sitting here trying to like dodge stuff and still getting hit by things, and I'm like, I can't fucking dodge through these attacks. I am an idiot. So that's huge.
Is there PvP?
No, there's no
Fuck.
There's no
It's all single player.
multiplayer.
That
Anything. There's no network activity.
Only thing that bothered the hell out of me in Dark Souls, the invincibility frames, I didn't mind them for boss fights. Obviously, they were nice. But then when you're fucking doing PvP and it looks like you're hitting somebody, but you're not because they're just coming out of an animation that has an invincibility, and it's fucking dumb.
Yeah, they're definitely this game, I never feel like it cheats me in the ways that I felt Dark Souls has in the past. Every time I die, it's just like super clean, and like the hitbox is super on point too. Like that game's very much like a hitbox porn game. And I took a clip earlier tonight. I'll have to share with you guys later. It was just like, wow, that did not hit me. But if this was a shittier game, it would have.
Okay. Cody?
Also, you can jump.
Oh,
one other big
jump. Nice.
Yeah, so I've watched a couple review videos on it, and that's what what they keep saying is that the fact that you can jump or whatever, it added, like, the game's a lot more vertical than it is like horizontal kind of thing. And like when people swing and stuff now, you can't, like, the goal isn't now like in older Dark Souls games to roll around and stab them in the ass or whatever. It's like you can, if you're good enough, you can stand in there and go toe to toe with these dudes and like kill them. Or if you're still like don't understand all the mechanics and stuff like that, or it's a new enemy and you're still learning the animations and stuff, you can do the old school like dodge. But there's abilities in there, like I've seen it where people just be like staying in there, they're just like blocking shit and just like doing everything. It's crazy.
Yeah, they have a new kind of mechanic. It's what do they call it? It's like poise, but it's not called that. But basically, like if you put your guard up and you get hit, your meter like grows, and when it gets to a certain point, it breaks, and you become like defenseless for a moment. So when you do that to an enemy, you get like a critical attack on them, like a visceral from Bloodborne, basically.
Okay.
But like there are things you can do to like get it back or not, and like the more damage you take, the slower it regenerates. So you really have to like pick and choose whether you want to sit here and try to like parry all their blows to fuck up their poise,
Right.
or just swing at them like a maniac. And all the enemies feel pretty distinct as well. And then they have like these attacks that'll flash like a little red symbol, and you don't know exactly what it means. You just got to figure it out based on the enemy and just looking at them to see what kind of attack they're doing. And it's usually like a thrust or a grab or like a sweeping attack, but it's one that cannot be blocked the normal way you would block them. So, like, there's this creature I was fighting, and that would flash, and it would either try to grab me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this one would try to grab me, so I'd have to like backstep out of the way, or just like pick me up and like break my spine and kill me. Um, yeah, so there's a lot of variety, and it feels different enough from Dark Souls that I would say Neo is like Ninja Samurai Dark
Right.
Souls, and this is definitely kind of a departure from that. And it has cutscenes, which
Oh.
is, Dark Souls sort of had like the boss fight cutscenes or whatever, but this actually is very like plot driven, it seems. Yeah.
It
But I'm
sounds fun.
excited about it. I want it. Like I was gonna pick it. I was gonna pre-order it, but I had to wait. Like I had to wait and see on this one because I don't know. It's kind of iffy. Like I was super excited about everything, but I'm at that point with games where I don't want to pre-order anything anymore. Again,
Yeah, the only thing
I like cycle
Same.
through that, but
right.
Yeah.
I did pre-order a game last night, but that's the Outward game, not the what the fuck is it?
not
Not the other
Outer
one.
Worlds, not the
Yeah.
Obsidian game that
Right.
I was
Yeah.
excited about. That's now on. We'll talk about that one later. But
Right.
you're talking
Right.
about
You're talking about the split screen
Right.
enabled
Right. So,
Dark
and the main
Souls-ish.
reason I pre that is because it's a dev team. It's made by a dev team of 10 people, and they've straight up come out and said they're just like, hey, depending on the sales of this game is going to be whether or not we can support it with like DLC and stuff later. You know what I mean? So,
I'm
which is
so
shitty,
iffy
but
on
I mean,
that.
it's also $40 compared to $60. Like, there's some trade
Yeah.
offs there.
Yeah,
So,
I'm
Yeah.
just
Support it
like
does.
I want to I want their game to succeed. I want to support them. I still can't pre-order because there is that the way that they keep phrasing that, if it's successful enough we'll support it. If it's successful enough we'll come out with expansions and DLC and all that. That makes me like just the idea that you might not support your game via patches after release unless it's super successful is kind of like
well, I don't think it's a patch thing. I think it's just extra content.
they've made
They
it.
haven't said like which I'd rather them be upfront about it or whatever instead
Yes.
of like Mass Effect 3 or not Mass Effect 3, Mass Effect Andromeda where they were just like, "Oh, this game sucked. All right, we're not doing any of the DLC. Fuck y'all."
Or fucking
like
Dawn of War 3 where they gave up on their game after a
right.
couple of months. Yeah.
Right. Like at least I
Yep.
know going in, hey, I might only get this. You know what? But for $40, from what I've seen, because I've watched a lot of like playthroughs, like areas and stuff, it seems like there's definitely enough content for that.
Hmm.
So what I've been playing lately though is I'm still playing Ashen, because I'm trying to beat that before Outward comes out on
Oh
the
god, I haven't
26th.
played that at all this week.
No, yeah, I'm way past you now. I had to fight some like big ass boss the other day. Like I streamed for like 2.5, 3 hours last Sunday, and I fought like this gigantic. I beat like two more bosses, so like there's no way we can play together. Like,
Okay.
yeah.
Not unless
Good
I
luck,
know
Tim.
Life and get caught up this weekend,
Well, it probably
which is
wouldn't
not
take you as
happening.
long, but like you go down one of the main missions or whatever, you go down this dungeon, and it took me like 2 hours to go through the entire dungeon to get to the fucking boss. It was crazy. I was like, after a while, I was like, all right, I've been doing this for a while. Like, where's the end? Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? And I was just, yeah, but it was super fun. A little bit exhausting after that boss fight or whatever, because it literally got to the point where like he had a very little health left. I had no more healing items, and like I'm just trying not to get hit, going through and trying to get him. It was fun though, good stuff. But yeah, I'm just trying to play through that, and then the plan is to play Outward after that. So
Nice.
Playing a lot of Souls light games.
yeah, yeah, I'm not, and I'll be honest, I own all the Dark Souls. I have Bloodborne or whatever, and I've just never like gotten in, never. But like, I don't know, maybe it's the artwork.
The artwork, dude. The
Yeah,
Dark
I don't
Souls is
know.
beautiful. Even Dark
No,
Souls 1 is just goddamn beautiful.
I don't think that game is pretty. I think it's very grim, like grimdark, which is what it is, which is fine. But I don't think grimdark is pretty.
It's
You know what I
pretty
mean?
in spurts. Like you have to go to certain areas to get the beautiful part of the game. I'll give you that. Then there is the shitty, muddy marshes and the fucking there is a lot of grimdark there too. But like there's some of the cities in Dark Souls, even like
I'm sure that they have certain areas.
Gorgeous.
Right. But like in my opinion, I think Ashen is a very like beautiful game, even if it is like not as necessarily detailed. Like there's no faces and stuff like that. Like there's very little like overall detail. You know what I mean? But it just looks nice. Like it's just enjoyable to explore and stuff like that. I just never really had that with Dark Souls, especially with like the learning curve and stuff or whatever, trying to like learn the game. I didn't have anything for me. Like I like playing games on like hard and stuff like that or whatever, but like if I'm just dying repeatedly, it's just like meh. Like I just don't feel like I don't feel like no life in this game right now. Like
when I refer to Ashen as Souls Light, that is exactly what I'm talking to. By the way, you say that it doesn't have the learning curve for Dark Souls was hard for you to get used to. There is none of that complex leveling system or from what I can tell, the items are all kind of the same. They all kind of function the same. Like you get a base item type, it might have slight different stats, and some of them are going to have different animations. Like the battle axe is going to have a different animation than the warhammer.
Right. It is a light. Like you're not joking because like you said, there's no actual leveling system.
Yeah.
So, but I like the way they did it personally, just because it gives you a reason to run around and do all the side quest stuff. Because when you do the side quest stuff, you complete it, it improves your stamina bar or your health bar. And while you're out and about, you can find these feathers that'll do the same or whatever. So it gives you an incentive to actually run around and fucking do that shit instead of just trying to push through the main story. So I'm kind of a fan of that, because not every game needs to have some super complex fucking leveling system. You know what I mean? So some games, like the old Oblivion and Mario games, that was one of the perks, was how well you could like customize your character. I just feel like a game like Ashen, like you said, it is a Dark Souls light.
It's streamlined.
It fits. It fits that game really well.
It's a good game. I in no way did I intend that as a slight either. I just it's lacking. When I say it's lacking, it doesn't have that feature, but it doesn't suffer from not having that feature either.
Right. So. Right. But I remember when you started up, you're like, this is all Dark Souls combat.
Like, 100% it is. Well, speaking of games with the exact same combat system of other games, the only game I've been playing lately is the only game I've played this week, because I haven't played a lot of games at all, was Shadow of War a little bit more. I'm trying to get back into that just because I still I hate the fact that there's no new save option. Like you can't have a separate save file. You can back up your save file, but you have to do it like I have to basically just copy the file into a new folder and like remove it from everything. So I'm probably actually going to do that because I do enjoy the story of that game. But I've also played a little bit of, I'm trying to get back into AC Odyssey. And Shadow of War has it's WB, so it's the exact same combat system as the Arkham games, which is the exact same combat system as Assassin's Creed, really. So it's kind of interesting that there wasn't really any like relearning when I was swapping in between the games. There wasn't like any like, oh, them not doing that. Like the abilities are different and stuff, but they're still
the basics are all the same.
The basics are all the same. The counters, like it is kind of interesting that way. But yeah, that's the only thing I've been playing this week. So let's dive into the meat of it, because I'm sure we're going to talk about I know I have more than one topic in this, but really it's all kind of one topic, and it's probably going to take the entirety of the rest of the stream to get through.
Talking about how Tim hates Ashen. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's it. Stadia was announced this week, so we teased a little bit last week about Google's big announcement that they were going to make. I said Monday. It was actually Tuesday. I was incorrect on which day it was. So a little bit of cleanup on that. I don't think you were
wrong. I think they changed it because I heard Monday too.
I don't know. I just know that GDC
and then you're right. It did come out on Tuesday, so I don't think you were wrong on that.
I don't know. I might have been, or they might have changed it. I'm not 100% certain, but either way, the game the gaming platform was announced on Tuesday. We did get a little bit more information about it, so we know it's going to be a streaming service. We know it's going to have its own controller. There is no console. You're not going to buy like a Steam Link for it or anything like that to hook up. Although if you're playing on a TV, you would need like a Chromecast or something of that nature. I suppose you could use a Steam Link hooked up to your computer and be running Stadia through that. If you really want to be weird about
God.
it, I probably will.
Tim.
Anything to not
I had
spend more
that
money.
thought. I had that thought while I'm okay. Anyway,
Right.
we learned a little bit about the price point though. So we talked a little bit about how we thought it was going to be a subscription service.
Mm-hmm.
Google said, according to several sources on the internet now, it's going to be a free platform. You'll be able to stream the games for free. You won't need to pay for your account. You will need to purchase the games through their platform, is the way that it sounds like it's going to be operating. I would assume you need to buy their controller as well, because I haven't heard anything about that. But I don't think they're just going to be giving away their controller like candy.
Right.
Although I suppose they might if they really want to. But that really, the fact that it's going to be another e-store is directly positioning them to compete with Epic Games and Steam. They already were we know they're going to have exclusives. They've already kind of teased a couple without announcing any. We know there are some deals behind the scenes with that. So curious to see what those are going to be. It sounds like actually Epic is having an exclusives deal, or is working on an exclusive deal with Ubisoft, which is interesting because that was one of the partners that I assumed Google would be pursuing, given that what they did with Odyssey last year. So that's
their test.
So I'm wondering if Ubi is just positioning themselves for a bidding war between those two. Be smart.
That'd be the smart play.
But yeah,
especially after they almost got bought out 2 years ago.
Yeah, no, that's.
I mean, breaking some more money so you can't get a hostile takeover going on.
That's exactly it. So it's just interesting the way we speculated that they might, but they really have. Google seems to be positioning themselves to not only compete with other e-store platforms and streaming services that are in the works with Xbox and PlayStation and EA, but also consoles and like the entire fucking gaming industry, which is insane. It's either gonna literally revolutionize gaming, or Google's gonna throw enough money at it that it's gonna force change, which is kind of cool. What are your guys' thoughts on any of that? Rock, paper, scissors for it. I don't.
Yeah, you can go first.
Okay. Well, I think the fact that it's going to be free is going to obviously attract a lot of attention. But I mean, having to buy whenever you buy a game on one platform, it always kind of sucks not being able to play it on something else, right? However, with their platform, it's like you can play it on whatever you want as long as it can run Google Chrome or whatever. So that eliminates some of that frustration. But with multiplayer games, if they're not pursuing crossplay with their system, then it's just going to be a closed ecosystem, and that's going to suck for any multiplayer-centric games that would come out.
They are. That was one of the things that was announced in one of the videos that they are going to be pursuing crossplay. Now, how that works out, but they're going to be pursuing it. So.
Right. Yeah. So I guess high hopes, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Like Microsoft's been killing it with crossplay lately, so I guess it wouldn't be too surprising to see Google come and be like, "Hey, we're here for that party," and Sony to be like, "Hey, yeah, we still are not. We're terrible."
Sony's going to be forced into it soon. Like with everybody, like you got these new places coming out, like Stadia coming out with like crossplay and shit. Sony's not going to be able to just continue to not allow it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they would be the closed off platform at that
point. Right. They're just at that point. They're just because we're kind of gearing up for like the next generation, like consoles and stuff. You know what I mean? And if they didn't allow that kind of stuff, they would just essentially be doing something like Xbox did last time and just like forcing themselves out of the market or whatever, and just starting off on the wrong foot kind of thing, which obviously isn't something they want to do, especially because the PlayStation 4 in general is just a very good console. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm still and for me, I'm super excited for Stadia, and this sounds weird, you know what I mean? Because I am and we'll get into this more, but I am totally against Epic, right? But for me, I like the fact that, I'll be able to, and I've been telling you guys this a lot, that just buying my Surface, right, and being able to just punch up Chrome and play would be amazing, because the Surface, in and of itself, already does so many things. I can draw, I can mess with like Adobe Photoshop, I can write notes, like literally write notes with this fucking pen. You know what I mean? It's got a detachable keyboard. It's a tablet. It's a laptop. Like it'd just be another thing that I could do on it. So that, like if I'm traveling or something like that, as long as I can get a decent internet connection or whatever, which the internet connection that they're asking for just 1080p gaming, which is 25 megabytes down. That's all they want.
It's not
Which, on one of the videos I watched on this stuff, the average download speed is like 96 megabytes per second. So it's you know what I mean? It's like a quarter of your speed for most people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it seems fairly realistic. You know what I mean? Obviously there's gonna be hiccups. Like this thing is not gonna come out and just be like smooth sailing. There's no way. But for me, like I've really transitioned as I've gotten older into single player RPGs, like that kind of thing. I don't really play like multiplayer shooters and stuff like I used to which sounds weird because I'm only 27, but it is what it is. Like when we were in high school, stuff like that. So I played Halo, Call of Duty, all that shit. Or nowadays it's Ashen. I want to replay Fable. I want to play through Dragon Age again, Mass Effect, all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like I enjoy those experiences a lot more. So in that sense, I think it's great. But you are right. The multiplayer experience is probably gonna wall some people out. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Which is understandable. Like, and that's a great thing about like having stuff like that. As long as you can get those multiplayer experiences somewhere else, it's not really a big deal. But I do think you already can't run. Well, there might be a way to do it, but just in general, you can't run like Chrome on like Xbox One and stuff like that, or whatever. I don't think you can install it. There's probably a way to install it, but you probably
I haven't
can't.
found it yet.
Tim would know.
Right. I haven't looked for it yet, but
right. But I'm sure
they force you to use IE. They do.
Right. And same thing with like PlayStation. I'm sure there isn't a way to use Google Chrome through PlayStation. You know what I mean?
If there was one where it would be PlayStation.
Right. Well, like I said, there's always a way, but it's just not. It's never. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
it's not a Stadia app for consoles.
I think there's going to be a Stadia app for computer. Honestly, I think that they'll come out with a separate app or whatever, for their game store specifically. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because that's going to be lightweight on a computer.
And it'll just run through. It'll be essentially. I think what it'll wind up being is you'll download an app that's essentially Chrome, but it'll only open Stadia or whatever.
Right.
So.
But I do think this is the best move, is being a free space, just like Steam. It's a free installer, and you can just download it. And if you want to buy the games off there, you're totally free to, or whatever. If you don't, you can go somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like I agree with that. While I don't agree with exclusives, it looks like this is something that we as PC gamers are gonna have to fucking get used to, because it's happening everywhere, especially if like a whole company like Ubisoft ends up just going to one platform. That's gonna like hinder. Like I'm gonna hate that.
It's
like a lot.
It's been happening slowly over time, but if you really think about it, because Steam was the de facto program that everyone used for the longest time, so it was for a while essentially the only big launcher.
They monopolized it.
Yeah, they did, and they had basically de facto exclusives, because there were smaller launchers out there that you wouldn't find anything but indie games on.
Right.
So in a large way, we kind of already were, but there was just no other competition for the people with the exclusives.
Right.
Steam, our favorite monopoly.
Right. Well, and just like my biggest issue with the whole thing or whatever, it's like I'm pretty sure I've had Steam since I was like 14 years old.
Mm-hmm.
That's 13 years of building a game library, and then all these like competitors want to come in and like fuck that up. I'm all about competition. I just hate exclusives. Like I've never really liked it on consoles. I hate it on PC because it's not even like these developers. It's not like Epic making like Epic makes Fortnite, right? So they want to make their own launcher and they just want to sell it on that launcher. All right, that's fine.
You can play Unreal
No.
on there too. Unreal Tournament. There is a new Unreal Tournament that's been out for.
Well, and that makes sense because they own the Unreal Engine though. That makes sense. You know what I mean? Get that. The same thing with Ubisoft. They created their own launcher. It's annoying as shit because it sucks. You know what I mean? Like it's not as bad as
it's gotten way better than it was.
Right. Yeah. But
I feel like now
it's definitely still not Steam.
Epic's launcher is where Ubisoft's launcher was a couple years ago when I fucking hated it. And now it's like functional. You can actually go invisible on your friends list and all that.
Right.
Epic, you don't even have a friends list yet. I don't
Epic, you know what Epic added in their last update?
What?
A fucking search bar. They didn't launch with a fucking search bar.
That's pretty
garbage.
It's a problem.
Like look, y'all gonna get me going. I'm trying to stay calm.
Hey, you're fine. This is why it's written into the script for you to write.
I was ranting about this to my wife last night because one of the videos I put in chat from Inside Gaming or whatever. I was just like, I can't it makes me so mad.
Yeah, if you're gonna make a launcher, there are so many.
You have so much money.
Yeah.
Just
you have
it good.
so much money.
You're a company that's based on a game engine that you had to be able to code to create. You have to be able to code to create the engine, to add to the engine, to be able to implement features for developers to use in the engine, and you couldn't code in a search bar into your game launcher upon release.
I just it's so rushed.
What, mate?
Yeah. Oh, that was awesome. No, it just feels so rushed. Like and that's why I can't see Epic as
Here's the bigger thing. A lot of people are just finding the Epic launcher. It's been out since before Fortnite was a thing. It's just never been any good. And now we're all these people are flooding and downloading it and going like, "Oh, it's actually shit." I'm like, "Oh yeah, I know."
Has been for a while. Shit.
Didn't they release it with that game, that hunting game, the like multiplayer, like the squad-based hunting game? You run around and hunt beasts and shit from like 2016.
Yeah. What's that called?
I don't fucking remember.
Pseudo Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
But it had it was kind of like Overwatch a little or whatever with
you're talking about
because
Evolve?
The character. Yeah. That's what it was.
You didn't need Epic for Evolve. Evolve
on PC.
Yeah, Evolve was on Steam.
Well, I know it was on Steam, but I wouldn't be surprised. I'm sure at the time.
I don't know. I wonder if anybody still plays Evolve. That was always such a cool idea. But...
It was, and it was poorly implemented, and then it died.
Yeah,
very fast.
It ran like shit.
Yeah.
Player.
Yeah. But I just don't understand how you have the standard. Like there's an example. You can download it for free.
Yeah.
Like you could have literally copied and just added features and been like, we're gonna compete, right? You know what I mean? And they didn't. I just don't. It doesn't make any sense to me. It just doesn't. It makes zero sense. Fuck.
Speaking of copying Steam, I did see in the I think it was a video you sent me, Cody.
The quartering one.
Yeah.
About Stadia.
Yeah. So he showed a screenshot from a person who claims to be a Google insider. He says that they are. It was of the Stadia store. Now everything on the Stadia store is currently free because they're all beta testing shit.
Right.
But it looked like Steam Link. It looked exactly like Steam Link, but gray instead of blue. And I don't mind that at all because if they are learning from Steam, which is something that other fucking game launchers should be doing, then they're doing something right. So
right. So the whole lack of features on these launchers just baffles me because Steam already went through the tough process, right? Of trying to figure out what people want, like reviews and all that kind of stuff. Because all that shit took forever to be implemented. Like when Steam first launched, it was garbage and people hated it. But it was also the only thing out there. You know what I mean? So it didn't like people just dealt with it, and now it's gotten to the point it's nice. Like the UI is a little bit outdated, but they're getting ready to update it and stuff like that.
They are.
So it's just like if you've seen like it's the same thing with the looter shooters, like Division and fucking goddamn Anthem. You have all these examples, people like the games going through these issues. How are you not having these fixed to begin with? Like I don't understand.
It'll never happen to our game.
Like you have so many examples of where these games fail, where these launchers fail. Just have it fixed from the beginning. Like I don't, I just don't. God damn it! I don't know.
Speaking of Steam updating their thing, you know how I think it was you two. I was complaining about all of the hentai on Steam at one point.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
I was at your house
them.
when you were
all
doing
of
that.
The fucking hentai on Steam because it's just
Yeah.
I have a 3-year-old. If I'm just going through, I like to
Right.
go through my queue and just see what games are out there, see if there's anything news, anything I've missed, any indie games that I want to check out. It's how I found Rainfall. It's how I found all these different games that I
Yeah, the queue is actually really nice.
yeah. And
Yeah.
what I don't want is to have Logan sitting on my lap and have a screenshot of a anime character's vagina pop up. Just no. I don't. I want a filter to just turn off porn specifically.
Right.
Romance in a game, fine. Have that in. But like adult content in a fine. If characters in the game are gonna like fade to black and go have a little love scene like in AC Odyssey, like in Dragon Age Origins,
Or Witcher.
I'm good
yeah.
with that if it's for the story and it's part of the story and it's cool. If it's literally just porn, I don't want it. Like there are legit websites that I will go to if I want to watch porn, and Steam ain't one of them. All right, so I'm very excited.
See, but those
about
aren't interactive, Tim. All right, get with the times.
I don't fucking need interactive porn. Jesus.
They really
Christ.
do need like a different tag for it, I feel.
Right.
They're
Yeah,
coming
should
out
just
with
call
a
it porn.
They're coming out with a more
They should
advanced
just-
filter with this UI update that they're
Oh, yeah.
pushing that you will be able to filter that shit out. So
Right.
about fucking time.
Right. All right. So this is gonna get a little awkward here.
Why?
Uh,
What are you doing?
My daughter is now asleep, and I'm in our bedroom, so I have to.
Oh. Okay.
So-
Okay, no, you're fine.
We'll bear with
So-
you.
Yeah.
You press.
So
press
there's a little bit of.
You could deafen yourself too before you move.
That's true, but I'm already
Right.
up.
Okay,
It's
this
too
is
good.
the bright side of having a Surface. It's not like you have to
Right.
pick up your
Yeah.
desktop and fucking move. It's just a Surface.
Right.
It's like
Yes.
Mortal Kombat test your balance
Ah.
right now.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Can you
Um,
grab my chair, please? Sorry.
I lost my train of thought.
Huh? You don't want
Oh.
porn on Steam.
What do
Yeah,
you think
no,
about
there's-
the Stadia controller, by the way?
I think it looks like a weird cross between a Xbox controller and a PlayStation controller. Like it doesn't. I've always preferred the Xbox controller to the PlayStation controller. There's nothing wrong with the PlayStation controller. It's literally just where the analog sticks are on the Xbox controller that just seem to fall a little more naturally in my hands. It's why if I were to buy a PS4, I'd buy a PS4. I can't remember the name of the company that makes it, but they essentially make an Xbox controller for PS4.
Nice.
Right.
That I would buy. So it looks interesting. I like the integrated features that they have on it. I think it's a little weird. They explained it as request help from a dev at one point, and then they're
Oh, yeah.
and then they said they changed the phrasing to using
Google Assist.
Yeah, Google Assist to look at in-game features provided by the devs. I have no idea what the fuck
Yeah.
you're talking about. It's like a
So-
help button, but
Do you know what they're talking about, Justin? You can tell it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I didn't see them elaborate on it more, but it sounded more to me like it was something that devs could program in
Yeah.
Mhm.
to respond to players in certain context-based scenarios.
Well, so one thing that they are doing is you hit that Google Assist button and it allows you, like, let's say you're in a really hard part of the game, like it's a puzzle and you can't fucking figure it out. You've been doing it for. You can hit that button and look up. It'll bring you to you can look up like the most popular YouTube video.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
so I don't have to tap
And
out to do it?
you don't have to turn off the game. You don't have to load the game. It'll just show up. It'll show you how to do it, and then you can go back to playing.
As
whatever.
my stream knows, I don't really look up or ask for help. I will spend
Right.
hours on a puzzle before
Right.
I say fuck it.
Right.
Boy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like I'm all about that too. Like I like to sometimes it's just like prime example,
I'll be right back.
Anthem or whatever isn't super intuitive with like telling you what the fuck's going on, especially in the beta. And I was playing the beta and I was in the main story, and it was like this puzzle with like these colors and stuff or whatever, and like symbols. And what you were supposed to do was find like whatever the symbol was supposed to be was on a was like under a bridge or this, that, and the other thing, but it was never really explained. It was just like there, and so like I was like, what the fuck? Like I don't know. I didn't know what was going on. Do I just keep doing this randomly until it works? Like I have no idea. So I googled it quick or stuff like that. Like if it's a beta, I'm not sitting here trying to spend 4 hours doing a goddamn puzzle. Like,
and if it was on the Stadia, you could just press that
right,
button and it would have found it for you right away.
Right. So I don't know. Like it's a cool idea, you know, especially if you're like just trying to get through a game. You know what I mean? Like you like the game and stuff or whatever, but maybe you fucking hate puzzles. So you're like, fuck this, and you just look it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's a cool idea. It'll be interesting to see how well it works, especially because they've talked about with Stadia having like the multiple cameras.
Yeah, that sounded really cool.
Right, and being able to bring like so you can like Tim, let's say me and you were playing Call of Duty, and you're like, hey, I got a guy, you know, running this way down this blah blah blah. I was like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I can bring up whatever the fuck you're looking at and see it on the same screen without minimizing my screen box. And you can do that with multiple. Like it could be me, you, Shane, and fucking Justin or whatever could all be playing like a game like Insurgency or something, and it'd be like, hey, I'm trying to, you know, go over here. I don't know what poppy fields are you talking about? You can just look. You can have all those views at the top. You see exactly.
That's like a step beyond the Apex Legends ping system now.
Right, and it's pretty cool.
Interesting.
Yeah. Another example they had was like you're playing whatever character and you're running around, and then your friend is playing with you, and like they even showed how you could have like simultaneous split screen, and it doesn't like make your system chug because they're both games are being rendered from two different, you know, data farms or whatever, so you have no lag or anything with the split screen. That sounded really cool.
Right.
But yeah, you've got like your person running around, and then you've got your person like up in the air doing their thing, and then another person could be like seeing like a top-down view, like a tactical map of whatever you're doing.
Right.
And you're all playing the same game together. I think it opens up a lot of possibilities for developers.
You know what?
Like it will.
You know what type of game I'd love to see with something like that is one of those RTSs where somebody building all the buildings and stuff like that, and then heroes like these hero units and doing fighting and stuff like that. That'd be cool as shit because then you can see exactly what everybody's looking.
That'd be amazing.
Like kind of like Earth Defense Force, you know what I mean? Except I don't think Earth Defense Force has the base building. I've never. Yeah, but yeah, you just be sitting there beating up ants and shit, and everybody can watch it at the same time.
I always think of didn't Eve Online have like some kind of like shooter
Eve has
game mode
everything.
that was supposed to be like it would
affect Dust 514.
Yeah. Like that sounded really cool conceptually.
Yeah, I was super excited for that.
I always think that mixed genre games like that seem super. That's why I like Rainfall. It's like when you take an RTS, but you let me actually get down in the battlefield too, and then I can pop back out. That's always super cool. I always appreciate the hell out of that.
Right.
It's partly why even Total War I even think of it like as a mixed genre game. It's not. It's a strategy game, but like you have the real time strategy aspect of it in the battles, and then you have the grand strategy, and the rest of it. And so it's so.
Look, all Warhammer Total War needs to add is they already have the concept Tide. Just add that into Total War and let me charge a fucking castle or like a settlement. Like, let's go. Let's do this.
Like
that would
add
be so
siege battles from like fucking Mountain Blade or or even better even better since it's Warhammer and you have the hero units, fucking like Shadow of War style siege battles.
Right.
Like let's fucking go.
Yeah, that would be that'd be so much fun. Oh my god.
that we are dreaming on this.
We are definitely dreaming.
So let's get back on track a little bit. So Steam has been like the last major innovation that Steam really came out with was their VR system, which was a couple years ago now, right?
Yeah, Steam, where they partnered with HTC.
Yep, and so like Steam Link, they've kind of been monkeying with over the years. Same with like the Steam boxes, which no one uses at all. Nobody. Everybody's like, I'll just build a computer and use my computer as my Steam box and get a Steam Link if I need it. And that's what I did. And I fun story about my Steam Link that listeners might not know. So last summer, I already owned Doom. And during the summer sale, they had a deal where you could buy Doom and get a Steam Link for $1. But when I went into the thing, it saw that I already owned Doom. It didn't make me rebuy Doom, but I still could buy Steam Link for $1. So I got my Steam Link for $1. Like I had to pay shipping on it, but that's it. I paid like I think $7 with shipping for my Steam Link, which is fucking amazing.
I forgot about that.
That's a great deal.
The Steam Link isn't the best gaming machine that I have, but it works for what I do with it, which is I play Shadow of War on that. Like when I'm watching my kids, I've got my controller. I'm just like, hey.
Yeah, it's pretty handy.
I like it a lot. I'll set it up at night and I'll be like laying down on my couch, just chilling before I go to bed, and I'll have a pair of headphones on, and I'm watching YouTube videos while I'm laying down on my couch on my computer instead of on my phone through the Steam Link.
Yeah, I haven't tried it, but I want to try. See how Sekiro runs on Steam Link for me down in the living room.
Is it wired?
Yeah.
Then it should be fine. As long as
am I a moron?
I'm
not playing TCGs on that thing, man. But I need wired connect.
One thing that I think is kind of interesting about the Steam Link and versus what Stadia is doing, right? So Steam Link, they actually have a mobile app now that you can hook a controller up to.
Yeah, I've tried that.
Yep, you can hook a controller up to your phone and play Steam Link through your phone. You've got the Steam Link that you can use on your TV. You can use Steam in-home streaming on a separate device. So like, you could like Cody, if you install Steam on your why can't I think of the word
Surface?
On your Surface, yeah. You install Steam on your Surface and you log in and now it only works over your local network, but you log in and you're in, like, say, I don't know, taking a fucking bath and you have a Bluetooth controller and you want to play in the bathtub for whatever stupid reason, risk dropping your Bluetooth controller, but you wanted to do that.
Electrocute myself, cool.
Yeah, but you could do that. Like, it would work functionally okay as long as you're connected over 5G or preferably wired, right? It's interesting that essentially Stadia is taking that exact concept, that ability to do exactly that, only they're taking you out of your local network. And that's essentially where they're at. And if Steam were to just simply work on their netcode just a little bit and make it so you could do it over remote networks, buddy, that would be fucking sick.
Yeah.
I don't think it would function exactly as well as Stadia does, but that could be what might save Steam if they want to stay competitive with the Stadia, because otherwise I don't really see a whole lot of reason, especially if they don't come down in price, why game devs aren't going to continue to go to other platforms, and Stadia is going to be a big one at launch. Like, it's going to be huge. People are going to be curious, and just because Google is backing it, it's going to be a big deal. So
with Google, isn't it? I just kind of skimmed over this, but I think they talked about how one of the reasons Stadia is going to be able to perform as well as it does is because Google has their own kind of like T1 fucking fiber network as like the backbone for all their shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it talked about how it'll be able to just pretty much beam direct to you as the consumer without going through like this tunnel of ISP connections.
Right.
So Steam will have to figure that one out before they can
that's true.
bring it.
Well, but I think the thing that Steam is always going to have Stadia is being able to download your games. The issue with Stadia is that you don't so from what is being speculated, that it's going to be free, but you're still going to have to buy the games, right? You don't like, and this is kind of true for everything now, but you don't really own any of these games. You know what I mean? And that's kind of like a lot of people have issues with that, and that's why they go like DRM and through GOG instead of like Steam and stuff like that or whatever. But being able to like physically download them to local whatever, like your hard drive and stuff like that, or I don't think that's ever gonna go away. I do think discs are eventually gonna be gone, as we've talked about with the dickless Xbox or whatever.
Oh yeah.
So, but like as long as Steam has, I think that's one thing that like consumers are gonna be like, I want to keep it on and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Especially modders, and that's a huge part of the PC community.
Yeah.
Modders are always gonna fuck with shit.
That's not going to be possible with Stadia, I imagine.
Right. So I mean, I don't think Steam will ever. I think Steam, as it is right now, is gonna have to go force through a change with Stadia. Fuck Epic, but with Epic or whatever, entering into the space and doing what they're doing with exclusives and stuff or whatever. But I really think if Steam were to just match what Epic's doing right now, what would be the incentive to be on Epic? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, so because we looked this up and I couldn't find any definitive, but I guess Steam's concurrent monthly users is like 90 million or whatever, which is as large Epic. It was a little bit bigger than Epic's total user base right now. You know what I mean? And so your concurrent monthly users is bigger than the entire player base for that, sure. So another thing that I hate about Epic, it's got fucking spyware in there to see if you Steam and what games you.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I hate that shit.
That's
like
kind of weird to me.
And it's only for Steam. It's not for anything else. It doesn't check through anything. It's just for Steam.
Steam has
They're trying to link.
55. Steam has more leverage than an actual lever.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting point you bring up. How with Steam, I knew a lot of people who didn't like the idea of Steam, or they didn't like the idea of downloading their games because they're like, well, then I don't own it. I don't have ownership of it. If I don't have internet connection, I can't update it. I can't play the newest version. So maybe Steam is going to become the new version of having your physical discs, and Stadia is going to be the new digital model.
Like, I get what you guys are saying with that, but here's the thing. If you uninstall Steam right now, a good chunk of the games that you have installed through Steam are no longer going to work because there's still DRM. Like, Steam a lot of these games require you to have Steam installed in order to function.
Right.
Not all of them. Like, I'm sure Mountain Blade would launch just fine if you uninstalled Steam.
Of course.
That's just the first indie game that popped ahead for me. Like, there are plenty of examples that's probably true, but I think there's still most of the AAA titles that are out there. If you uninstall Steam, they're not going to function. Like Doom, for example, I'm pretty sure would no longer function if I uninstalled Steam.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I don't think Steam is ever going to go anywhere, because people like me count. I have look. I have 500 and what? If I pull it up real quick, I have 547 games on Steam. All right. I'm keeping my Steam account forever. That is thousands of fucking dollars.
Now that you have Humble Bundle Monthly, that's gonna get to 600 real quick.
Yeah.
I know what, I didn't sign up for that, but I did buy all those books the other day. I did buy all the fucking books.
Yeah, you saw that? Yeah, I bought all those. I was like $15 for most of the Horus Heresy. Fuck yeah. I was all over that shit.
One other point I wanted to make was, if you're playing these games on Stadia, what happens if your fucking modem kicks out? You don't have the internet, and you can't play your games.
Right.
I'm sure the game would still be running then too on the client or on the server, and so your character would just stand.
Yeah.
I don't know. It would probably they probably have to, you know what I mean, or they just kick you off or whatever, just because they're gonna have so many users on. Just like any multiplayer game. If you're idle for fucking 3 minutes or whatever, they're like, bye, bitch. Like, get the fuck out of my lobby. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I could see them even having just something, so if you lose connection, it just pauses or whatever.
And even Steam right now, so it used to be very true without my internet or playing your Steam games, but Steam has the offline mode now. So you boot up an offline mode. As long as you got it installed, fine. Now, if you don't have it installed, it's still, that's where those issues come in. But I mean, if you're in offline mode, it can't update or anything, so you're not those kind of issues and stuff like that. I've used that plenty of times when I've been deployed.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'll spend the whole fucking day in the one place we have internet in the goddamn desert there and be trying to download these games or whatever and throw that bitch in offline mode, and I play it in my tent or in my room or whatever.
Right. If it was Stadia, you'd be able to.
Right. Yeah. Stadia, you won't have that. So there's pros and cons. I really do like Stadia as long as I'm here in the United States. But if I'm anywhere else, fuck it.
As long as
I
you're
can
somewhere
try
with like good internet.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I pay for good internet because me and my wife are streaming shit constantly. She watches Hulu like nobody's fucking business, man. Hulu's always on. We need the wiggles, all right, from my daughter. So
what just
it's
happened to the lights in your house?
My
You
camera,
went to
no,
a
my
horror
camera
movie real quick.
It keeps adjusting for the lights right behind me. It
gotcha.
keeps us like, oh, it's bright, oh, it's dark, and like I'm not moving. I'm just moving my hands. Yeah, I don't know. So
random update on the hockey game you guys don't care about. They're going into double overtime.
Oh nice. Wow!
I had to pull it up on my phone because I've been trying to like listen to the game show. I'm like, fuck that. I'm just pulling it up.
I'm trying to hold a conversation, man. You can't be listening to the game.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm just like. That's why if you see it, notice me looking down a lot. That's what's happening. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Okay. I'm not trying to sneak a peek. I'm just checking the score of the hockey game.
Yeah. So, what do you guys? So, out of curiosity, what do you these Dark Soul light games that have been coming out over the past couple years? Because you got the Surge was 2017 or whatever. Souls. Yeah. You got Ashen. You got whatever. Like you've kind of seen like the Lords of the Fallen, which wasn't received very well.
It was the same company that did the Surge, and it was much worse done than the Surge. They learned from their mistakes with Lords of the Fallen. They did.
Right.
Yeah, that's interesting because Dark Souls came in and was a hit, and much like Rogue created roguelikes.
Right.
You hear Metroidvania all the time.
Right.
Now we have Souls-like games.
Right.
It really third-person, weird lock-on, melee combat, fantasy, whatever bullshit.
Right.
That's a total genre of its own now.
Yep.
I think it's fine, I guess, but I also feel like there's like the market's pretty saturated now with that, and it doesn't interest. Like that's why I didn't pick up Neo because I was like, well.
Is it saturated though?
Yeah,
I don't feel like it's saturated. I feel like they've been kind of spread apart. It is getting. I will say it is getting there. But I want to say like Neo came out 2017, so we had Surgeon, and then like this year we got Sekiro, Ashen, and Outward. I don't know of any other Dark Souls type games that are coming out this year. I could be wrong though.
There's another one that Dragon's Dogma.
That's not really Dark Souls. It's much more RPG like focused kind of thing.
Right.
And because I mean the biggest difference party, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Dark Souls is all you by yourself until you get ganked by some dude apparently standing like a stone in a corner. You know what I mean? Like
transformed into a statue.
Right. Dragon's Dogma. Now let me say that if you have never played Dragon's Dogma, you're doing yourself a service. That game is so fucking. You could have like your character be downloaded as an NPC and one of your friends.
Right, the like pawn thing.
Yeah, and then they could go help your friend and they'd come back with like items and shit and experience and whatnot. So like even if you weren't playing, if your friend was a character, you could still like see improvements and stuff like that. So
I love that. That's a really like smart networking multiplayer thing.
Right. And it doesn't require like peer-to-peer connection kind of thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so you still get into that kind of like that multiplayer feel. But I'll be honest, I haven't seen another game do that. Like
no.
I've never.
No, that's really cool.
Yeah. And now we're dropping frames apparently.
Yeah.
Drip drop.
It's starting to stabilize a little bit. I don't know what that was all about. I closed.
Internet.
Huh?
Have you tried?
Are you almost at your 1 terabyte limit?
No, it's
dude.
It's Sarah's working right now, and I had the game open on.
Oh, buddy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I probably had a lot going on there.
that is something I wanted to bring up with Stadia. So apparently, it's reported that it's going to use up to 3 gigs every hour with internet connections like mine or and Tim's or whatever. We have a 1 terabyte cap.
Yeah.
So if your only thing you use is fucking stream all time for a month, you're gonna hit that terabyte cap
real quick.
So I don't know if it'd be quick, but it'd take in about 3 weeks. If you play, let's say you play like 3 hours, 2-3 hours a day, you know what I mean? Which I feel like is even a little bit more than average for some people. You know what I mean? One game of Madden is an hour. You know what I mean? If you play the full game. So if you're playing that and I'm playing that over Stadia, that's 3 gigs. You know what I mean? Like, and that's on top of all the other streaming you'd be doing. Like, could that become an issue? Like, I don't know.
That could become a huge issue for anybody who has. I don't know who your ISP is. I'm not
Cox. The worst
Cox,
name for a fucking company ever.
I've got I've got Xfinity, so it's an issue for me. I think we've already hit it the second time.
As far as I know, I don't have any data caps.
Spectrum?
Yeah. I don't think Spectrum has them yet, but the fact that it's in there and they don't advertise the other night, and I saw it, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, because the only place I had heard about doing it was Tim's provider, whatever. So I was like, so this is becoming a thing. Like
the other name for
net neutrality, am I right?
Yeah.
Fucking Ajit Pai.
So, but yeah, I don't know. We're at 2 minutes before an hour.
Yeah, see, I knew we weren't gonna need filler on this one. I was like, we're gonna talk forever about Stadia and Epic.
Right.
Yeah, basically, like, to sum up my thoughts on this entire topic, I'm really hoping that it forces innovation in the marketplace. Which the head of Epic Games did an interview this week that they talked about in Inside Gaming, that he did come off very douchey because he said that we're doing what's best for gamers even if they can't recognize that, or best for gaming even if gamers can't recognize that. Now, maybe that's true. Maybe having Epic out there will force Steam to innovate and force them to cut prices for developers, which would be huge. I don't even think they need to price match what Epic is doing in order to get people to stay on Steam. I don't think they need to come down that low, but they need to come down from 30% because it is going to be rough for a game dev to fucking, absorb that 30% hit. Like, it is. But if they just come down to 20, to 15, I think you'll see people come back because that's just more manageable. So
and the user base is so huge, it's fucking gigantic.
So even though I think Epic is coming off as douches in some of the things they're doing, I think the intent is well-meaning. It is a pain in the ass to deal with. So
yeah, another launcher.
Yeah, you guys got any closing thoughts?
Yeah. Sekiro's hard as fuck. I'm terrible at it. I probably will be next week too.
Always terrible. That's the name of the game. Get good, scrub.
Yep.
Right? I don't have any super clothing thoughts. Clothing
thoughts. Whoa! I didn't realize this was a fashion stream too. Fashion souls.
Fashion souls, baby.
No. I will say with the whole Epic thing, my biggest problem is I'm not going to go into this, but look up Phoenix Point.
Yeah.
Just YouTube it. It basically the entire consumer base totally fucked because of Epic. Like it's just bad. But trust me, there's enough stuff out there that people can make their own decisions on. Epic. I personally say fuck them. They can go fuck themselves. Like, I'm not buying any game on their platform. I'm not going to buy Outer Worlds. I'm not going to buy fucking Phoenix Point. I'm not going to buy anything on that platform.
I'll probably still buy Phoenix Point and Outer Worlds.
I mean,
I don't.
I'll wait. I'll wait
the
year. I'll wait the year. Like, that's my thing. you're just saving me money. Like, spend that $60.
There's other games.
Game.
Yeah.
Right. There's plenty of other games for me.
Oh,
So,
I won't pay $60 for them. You know me. I'm not paying the full price.
right. But
Although,
you
I don't
get
know
what I'm
that
saying.
Epic's, yeah.
It's just there's so many choices. And plus I always have Madden. Madden's my default. If I don't feel like thinking, I play Madden. It's whatever. You know, I can get my gaming fix that way. But yeah, man. Just make sure that for anybody or later, like, subscribe, share, all that kind of stuff. Or subscribe on the good old podcast stuff or whatever, because it really, really helps.
It does. It helps a ton.
And it, like,
Smash
you know, we're not on iTunes yet, so have to.
We are on iTunes.
You know, oh, are we on iTunes?
We're
all right,
on
well,
iTunes,
give us some
Spotify,
5-star rating.
SoundCloud.
We don't need help. We're on it all.
We're
we're
on
everything.
Well, I'm thinking about putting us on another platform that apparently you guys have never heard of, called iHeartRadio. They do a lot of podcasting stuff.
Oh, I know
too.
them. I used to have their app on my Xbox.
Yeah,
360.
I've got their app on my phone. I use it to listen to KFan while I'm at work. So we might be on iHeart. I got to look into how we would go about doing that, and if there would be any restrictions with getting us on that platform. I don't think there would be, but I got to look.
Yeah, but we're trying to grow a community, so we need all the help we can get.
Yeah, so grow up,
everybody.
Speaking of growing a community, now we're not putting links out. We're not announcing it yet, but we are working on a website where we will not only be posting the podcast, we will have a merch store. We will have links to streams, our streams, as well as a few other streamers that we appreciate and we consider part of the OLIP family. But we will also be doing articles, written reviews for games. We'll be writing articles about things like this, just general gaming news, our opinions on things, that kind of stuff. That's something that we are is in the works. I put a good chunk of work into it today. We're going to be working on it some more moving forward, and see if we can get it to a point that it's a little more functional for what we want. There were a couple of things that we were testing. Yeah, there were a couple of things that we were testing on it while we were doing this tonight that didn't work quite as intended. So I'm gonna take a look at that today and see if I can fix it. But yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. We got. All right, so that's it for this. Is actually, I'd like to throw it out there as well. This was the 30th episode of Our Life in Pixels. We didn't make a big thing of it or anything, but we hit 30 with a big 3-0 today. So
despite everything,
despite taking a year
break.
Yeah, we took a year break and we still hit 30. So
we made it.
So yeah, that's it for this episode. Thanks for joining us, guys. Be sure to like, subscribe, whatever.
Smash that help button.
Smash that help button. Do what you can. Hit the Google Assist button and help us out. Yeah. So we'll see you guys next Saturday. Thanks for chilling.